to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing tonight. We already have CJ Duarte on the phone with us already. He's off to the side for just a quick moment. We're going to be talking about the Hall of Fame selectees / inductees for the evening. That just came out a little bit ago. You back yet there, CJ?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Did you see who the inductees were for the Hall of Fame now?
I have not seen. One thing I did see, though, that I thought was really cool is that Steve Burns, his son, actually handed in his ballot earlier, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh, cool. Well, here they are. Bruton Smith, Terry Labonte, Curtis Turner, Jerry Cook, and Bobby Isaac. What's your thoughts on? Huh?
Well, I really like seeing Bruton Smith's name on there. He's done a lot for the sport of NASCAR and for racing, and he's built a lot of great racetracks, and I think it's really cool that he's a Hall of Fame inductee now.
Yeah, I hate to say this. A lot of feedback I was noticing already online was that everybody was pissed that Mark Martin didn't make it, and why Bruton was making it on there before Mark Martin.
Well, I think, Mark will have his time, and it's not this, maybe, obviously it's not this time, but, eventually Mark will be in there, and it's all in due time, I feel.
Yeah, well, everybody has opinions, so some people is going to be happy, some people are going to be sad. So
right.
As they say, you can't make everybody happy.
Exactly, yeah. You're never going to make everybody happy.
So tell me, anybody's name on there surprise you?
Not really. All those guys that were inducted, they've done a lot for the sport, and they've been a big part of the sport and made history in the sport. So definitely none of those guys' names have surprised me that they made it.
Yeah, I know Texas is real happy with Terry.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people already. Texas is all up and hooping and hollering. Now, Bobby Isaac, was that one that may have been a possible? Maybe it should have been. Maybe it didn't need to be, or.
No, I feel like that he definitely deserves to be in there. Anybody who even has a shot at being in the Hall of Fame has earned their spot to be there. So, I feel like that he definitely belongs there. I don't understand. That's one thing I really don't understand is why people are upset about who has made it, who hasn't made it. Definitely, anybody who is in the Hall of Fame has done something big in the sport of NASCAR and has made history in the sport. So I feel like every person that is ever inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame deserves to be there 100%.
Okay, I go along with that. A lot of times that I get a lot of feedback from are, unfortunately, like we said, you can't please everybody. Somebody would rather see somebody go in before certain others, and that's where most of your pressure and conflict come from. One of the guys that's usually here with us, Al Pierce, I think you've met him before on the show, haven't you?
I do believe I've met Al before.
Yeah, he's down there. He was doing his voting, and he's now writing up the article for Arto Week, so we were going to try to have him call in, except deadlines for him, so he has to finish that before he can get away. But what can we say? So, all right, we've got you on here. I know we had you back. We had you on sometime last year. We've had you on here before.
It was last August. It was the day before my birthday. So that's how I remember it, because I remember it was the day before my birthday.
We have a tendency to catch people like that sometimes. Every once in a while, I'll be getting people and talking to them, and just out of curiosity, I'll go look up our birthday, and then we'll try to snag people closer on their birthdays and stuff.
Yeah, that was something that was really cool last year, that I got to be on the show, the day before my birthday, and, it was really cool. I really enjoyed being on the show last time.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and do a bio about yourself so people that are catching you for the first time learn something about you. See what got you interested in getting into racing, and tell us where it led to from there.
Well, whenever I was younger, my parents put me in, baseball and pee-wee football, and being from Texas, football is a huge sport. Racing is not the premier sport. It's definitely going to be baseball and football. So they put me in baseball and football, but I'd always liked, auto racing more than I liked baseball and football or anything else like that. And whenever I was 5, I was on a pee-wee football team, and a kid had a cart for sale. And I had been to the races before. My mom started taking me to the dirt track when I was 4. And she said, do you want to race? And of course, I jumped at, the opportunity to race because we also had like a little yard cart, and I couldn't hardly reach the pedals, but I would lean down there. I was a little bitty. I would lean down there and push the pedals and somehow steer the thing. And I was just, so ate up with racing. And so that basically led me into wanting to race go-karts. We started out in karts, and we raced those from the time I was 5 all the way up until I was 11, and won a lot of races and set some track records and had a lot of success in go-karts. So whenever I was 12, they moved me up into the 600cc micro sprint. And I was the youngest kid in the field, and it was a huge learning curve because I went from a little bitty short quarter-midget go-kart track where I had, done a lot of, good racing to a big quarter mile, which is huge for these little micro sprints, and I'm 12 years old, just a little kid out there racing against grown men. So we started racing those, and we struggled with learning the setup and me actually getting comfortable in the car, and figuring stuff out like that. And we met a guy named Rick Bailey, and he raced USAT midgets and won a lot of races and stuff back whenever he raced. And he pretty much took us under his wing and talked about setup, and he completely changed my driving style and taught me about driving and taught me how to read the track, how to run the track and stuff like that. And it was so helpful. It was huge, and I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today without him. And he worked with me on my driving and taught me things that I never seen before. And I was like, wow, he's showing me stuff that I would have never paid attention to or been able to read the track at such a young age. And I started getting more comfortable in the car and started getting some more podium finishes. And over the course of 5 years, we finished on the podium a lot. And we racked up a lot of top 10s and had a lot of success in micros. In 2013, we decided that it was time to take a step up into the big sprint cars. And my parents bought me a 305 sprint car. And I decided, well, I want to go further with this. I don't want I've done pretty well at every other level of it. So why not take it further? And I set my sights on NASCAR. And I started chasing that dream down, and still racing sprint cars. This is our third season of sprint cars, and still trying to get the NASCAR dream. Trying to reach it and get sponsors and stuff. That's the toughest thing, is getting sponsors to find funding for NASCAR. It's so hard to find, and it keeps a lot of guys on the sideline. So basically, my goal is to race in NASCAR and be a Cup champion one day. A lot of people say they have dreams. Well, I don't have dreams. I have goals, because I feel like if I work hard enough, that I can, reach those things that I want and, have the stuff that I want. So I like to say that I have goals more than I have dreams. But definitely my goal is to be a NASCAR Cup champion someday.
Cool. Now, granted, you're still young. You're only 19. So,
yes, sir.
Which is always a good thing, because as long as you're still young, the people that are shopping for new and upcoming talent, they're going to be looking for people like you.
Yes, sir. That's one thing that I have been very fortunate that I got started in the sport whenever I was very young, and it's definitely played out in my favor because used to, you see guys like Eric Jones or kids that are like 17, 18 years old, some kids that don't even have driver's licenses out there racing in NASCAR. Used to, if you were to say, hey, I'm 16, 15 years old and I want to race in NASCAR, they would have laughed at you. And now it's become a more popular trend for the drivers to be younger. And the talent at such a young age is it's just amazing nowadays how many young drivers are out there that are actually doing good.
It's interesting you were saying that. We had one guy on here last week and talking about how old he was and how much he's been racing and everything, and he's still looking to try to get truck or Xfinity ride. And of course we told him, Harry Gant, hey, 40 years old before he started really getting anything kicking, so as long as you're willing and able, you can go out there and get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, people want to take and follow you on, I know there's a lot of social media out there. Go ahead and let them know how to get up with you and track you.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter. I have the same Twitter name as my Instagram, which is DJ Duarte, just my name and the number 83. And then also on Facebook, I have a fan page, which is DJ Duarte Racing. And I'm really trying to get, my followers up on all of the social media sites because that's what it takes for these big name sponsors to actually want to work with you. If they see that you have a lot of following, then that's more exposure for them, and that's what they're in it for. So you can follow me on there, and you can also add me. I have a Snapchat account, and it's become pretty popular among a bunch of NASCAR drivers. My Snapchat account is DJ83, just like everything else.
Well, hey, whatever it takes, you got to brand it if that's what you're going to do. What happens to you when you get into the upper three or even getting a full ride in the ARCA, are you think you're going to be able to hang on to that 83 number?
I would hope so because the 83 is very special to me. The reason why I chose the number 83 was I'm a big Earnhardt fan. Those guys were my heroes ever since I was old enough to watch NASCAR. And I was like, well, I can't decide if I want to be number 8 for junior or number 3 for senior. So I was like, well, I'll just be both. So I chose 83, and it's been my number for everything. I played football as number 83, and I played baseball as 83. And ever since I was younger, I was 83. But if I can't hold on to it, then that's just part of it. If you want to reach your goal, sometimes you gotta make sacrifices. Yeah,
you got to give a little to get a little.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting because that's the way I was when I played hockey. Any sports that had a number on my chest, that was always the number 10. So when I went racing, that's the number I took. I kept with me and took the number 10.
Exactly. It's not something that you usually want to. It's something that people identify you. If you see, like you were number 10, so they knew. They knew that you were number 10, and nobody else was number 10. When people see the 83, they know it's me. So it's kind of like there's a commercial on, and I really love the way that NASCAR promotes themselves in the Xfinity Series for sure, and the young up and coming talent. And the commercial says you're in a sport where you might not be known so much as more than a number and a name out there. So it's definitely a way of identifying you as a driver.
Well, sooner or later, that's all everybody's going to be known by is just numbers.
Exactly.
I mean, when you go to sign in at the racetrack, they need to know your driver's license number. So
right. For sure.
And everything's being tracked that way. But hey, it is what it is, and you never know till it's all over with. Now,
yes, sir.
Now you've been driving in the sprint cars there for what do you say, since you were about 10?
Well, I got into like the micro sprints, the 600cc mini sprints, which is just like a smaller version of sprint cars. I got into those whenever I was 12.
Okay.
And then I got into the full-size sprint cars whenever I was 17.
All right. It's hard when we got these young kids on here trying to keep straight when they started, whether they were starting at 5 or 6 or 12.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them, and a lot of them, they start really, really young. And then they move around different series, different cars, and it's hard to keep up with.
Now, you're still living down in Texas?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Texas is home. Always will be home. The only other place that I would want to live besides Texas would probably be North Carolina, just because it's NASCAR country. Other than that, Texas is home.
Do you think that hinders you a little bit at trying to find sponsors that are more into racing?
Yeah, for sure. I would have to say so, because we have one NASCAR track here in Texas, which is Texas Motor Speedway.
Right.
And you have, all the other, if you look at a map of where all the NASCAR tracks are at, they're all on the East Coast. So these businesses and these companies that are going to sponsor you, they need the people on the East Coast to see, their logo on a race car so they get their exposure. So it's kind of tough, because one of the things that I like to do is work with a company that's from my home state, and we can work together. I'm from Texas, they're from Texas. Let's grow together, and reach our goals and our dreams. It can definitely hinder. It can definitely hinder looking for sponsors sometimes.
Do you remember Robert Richardson Jr.?
I know Robert. I'm very good friends with Robert.
Oh, did you go to his wedding?
I did not.
Shame on you.
Every time, I know. Every time that he lives right up the road from me. I say every time he's in town, but every time that the NASCAR races are in town, I always try to make sure that I get together for Robert to see how he's doing. Robert's one of the first guys that really helped me. Now I'm glad you mentioned that. Robert's one of the first guys that really helped me get going into the NASCAR world, because I reached out to multiple drivers on Facebook asking them, hey, how do I get going, and if I want to do this. Robert actually took the time to read my messages and message me back, answer all my questions, and point me in the right direction. So I'm very thankful for his help.
Yeah, I found Robert to be very, very much down to earth, really A plus, #1 type of person. I've known him for a while. Always have fun whenever we go out and visit with him at the tracks when he was running. I just wish so much he didn't get out of it. But
yeah, Robert's definitely one of those guys who a lot of these NASCAR drivers, they are almost, you don't ever get the real person with him, because it's all about NASCAR is so corporate that they got to be professional. But then you have Robert, he's just a good old boy, man, and he's just himself, and I really like that, and it inspires me and to be that kind of guy, kind of like Clint Boyer. He's just himself.
yeah,
He's never anybody that's fake. He doesn't hide anything, and I really like that about drivers, because you really get the full personality, and I think that's what pulls fans into the sport. Whenever they see a driver like that and they get a taste of their personality, I think that's really cool, and fans like to see that.
I would love to be able to talk to Clint as often as I've talked to Robert, and as well as I know Robert. There's been many a time that be in his hauler and just farting around, whether it was in the Cup or whether it was in the Nationwide back then. If it was a rainy day, the guys would be playing AC/DC, the crew, and I'd be sitting right there playing right on in there with them. It was totally relaxed. It was fun to be around him and the guys. If everybody was like him, I don't know if we could stand it.
Yeah. You have to have some. You have to, give and take. You have to have some of these guys that are real serious in all business and stuff, like you said, But I like the guys that will show their personality with you and will cut up and laugh and have a good time and stuff like that.
When you see him next, ask him, is his buddy Richard Petty, Snicker, and add those two in there. Snicker is still talking to him.
I'll definitely have to ask him that. Let's get an inside joke between you and him, but I'll ask him.
There is a big thing on there, and if I remember correctly, he flew him in for the wedding.
Did you really?
Yeah, but you have to get with him and get the whole story so that you'll understand all of what I'm saying.
I'm definitely going to have to ask him about that because I'm curious now.
Oh, then once you find out, get back with me and I'll tell you the whole story.
I'll definitely do that because it sounds like knowing Robert is going to be a good one.
Oh my God, it was priceless. And he doesn't know all the stuff that I know that went on because he wasn't always around the whole time when all this was going on.
Oh man.
So
There's stuff that he didn't even know. That's funny.
yeah. So I mean, and I told him some of it, but it was just so much. Now, question I meant to ask you earlier: are you able to go out for the D4D combine?
You know, I've tried. I'm going to try again. Because I am Hispanic, and I mean, you can look at me and tell that I'm not. I'm not full white. My dad is American Indian and has Spanish and Spaniard in him and stuff. You can look at my last name and tell that I'm not white. So I'm going to try. But some of the things that they require you to do, you know, for like the Native American thing, I think you have to have ancestors that lived on a reservation or something like that. Well, I think it was my great grandfather. He worked for the railroad instead of being moved on to the reservation. So, but I mean, I think honestly I would qualify for it. I'm definitely going to try for it. I mean, it's definitely worth a shot, and I just need to get all the technical stuff, you know, and all the paperwork done for it. Really.
Please do. Then I can meet you in person up here because the combine is held 10 minutes away from my place.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be awesome.
Get you up here and drive you crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think we'd have a good time.
Yeah, and you'll get a lot of good hints and help from hopefully from some of the drivers that have been out the track. Let's see, last year they had Bubba Wallace out there. Sergio Pena was out there. I don't think they had a couple of the other guys we'd like to have seen out there.
I'll tell you who I'm really good with is Daniel Suarez. Man, he is.
Oh yeah.
He's the real deal. He's a good driver. He is a great driver, and he's the most calm and cool guy that you'll talk to. He is. I mean, Daniel's just like the most chilled out, relaxed guy there is.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would definitely like to see you be able to get out there because that's one way to get your name out in front of a lot of people, especially if you can get yourself into a K&M ride.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that's one thing that my parents have talked to me about. You know, you should do that. And, you know, the thing is, on my birth certificate, they didn't even put down a race, and I'm like, really? That's kind of different. So
Just have a little check box says yes, I want to.
yeah, for sure. That's what I need to. Yeah, I'm whatever it is that's required to be in this program. That's what I am.
Yeah, that would be awesome to have you out there and be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a really great opportunity for me to be able to do that. I'm definitely going to try it, for sure.
Now, who is the driver you look up to the most? Who do you feel is your patron saint of racing for you?
There's so many that it's so hard to choose. I mean, there's several different drivers that I look up to for several different reasons. Definitely in dirt, I would have to say all of those guys that run Outlaws, the guys that run in Pennsylvania, they're just filled with so much talent. Sammy Swindell is he's just so talented behind the wheel of a race car. In NASCAR, like I said, definitely the Earnhardts, and I look up to guys like Brennan Poole and people like that who have come from my roots and have made it. Kyle Larson is definitely another one because he came from my roots and he's doing it. And I also like Jimmy Johnson because he wins all the time, and he's just so good behind the wheel of a race car. And he also gives back. You know, he does a lot of charity work and does things for other people. It's not just all about himself. So those are a few of the guys I look up to.
Cool beans. Yeah, yeah. Sammy's a good wheel man. There's a lot of guys in the dirt series that I love talking with and visiting with. Been up to the Knoxville Nationals myself, and we were doing some shows up there, and then we went to do a live show one day. We took down the whole Hall of Fame.
Wow.
We didn't realize how small a bandwidth they had when we kicked it up to start sending it out. It took everybody's bandwidth away from them and put it on a priority with us, and all the cash registers and everything working on networks all died. And about
I bet you they really liked you guys up there.
Oh, two minutes into it, there was somebody coming running up. What'd you do? What'd you do? I said, well, we just started the live thing.
Sure.
But no.
I bet you they were really happy about that.
Oh, just for that few moments of what the heck went on type thing. But they asked me to come out anytime. Anytime they have nationals, they want us to come out there. We wound up going ahead and just doing all those shows, but just recording them and then just putting them out later on. Once we got back to back here, put them on YouTube like we do all our other stuff.
Yeah, you know, I like that y'all do that because sometimes people are busy or they can't get the show on their phone or something like that.
Yeah.
But you know, they might have time later on and say, hey, check out the YouTube link. Here's the video, and I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, we try to within a day get it up there. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but it's always fun.
Yeah, and I really like what y'all do because it helps drivers. You know, I'm sure a lot of people have never heard my name and have no clue who I am and that I even drive a race car. And it helps drivers that are up and coming into sport like me to get their name out there and to build fans and to have their voice heard and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool.
Well, I'm going to try to help you out on that as best I can. We've already sent some messages.
I really appreciate that.
Well, hey, I try to help out when I can, where I can. A lot of times I've got some of the, I hate to say some of the older drivers that I've talked to, and we'll set up a website and try to help promote them and get people coming by, seeing them. And the hard part for them, I think, is that all their stuff that they have when they were in Cup or things like this was always an issue of we were there already and we're trying to get linked up with new teams, and because they have new sponsors they're looking for, they don't want to put out their old stuff, and sometimes their stuff may have been 10 years ago.
Right.
So, but it is
one. That's one thing, like you said, I just feel like you said, that they might not want to put out old stuff. I feel like...
Hang in there, John.
What's that?
I had John Wes Townley on here also. He just came in. I just put him in to listen while we were finishing up.
Okay. Oh, hey, Ben. How's it going?
Pretty good. Hang on a second for me, John. We're going to finish up with CJ here, and then we'll get you rolling. All right, CJ, let me go ahead and let you thank your sponsors. Tell everybody once again how they can find you on the internet, on all the social networking, and I will be getting back up with you again off to the side.
Awesome, sounds good. I got to thank Podium Finish Photography. He has supported me since I met him in 2011, and he has backed me ever since. And he's one of the few sponsors, and we lost so many sponsors over the off season that it's tough, and it's tough for us to keep going. My parents, I got to thank them for all their support and time and money they put into my racing. And DGS Motorsports, he's helped me out a lot too. And I wouldn't be able to do it without guys like that. And I also got to thank SRB Composites and also Allard Racing Engines. Jimmy Allard, he he really helped us out a lot because there's not many engine builders out there that will say, hey, we'll just pay me off throughout the season. He's done that for us this year so that we can be on the racetrack.
Cool.
He's not like, well, I need my money right now. And without that kind of help, I mean, I wouldn't be on the racetrack. So
yeah.
it means so much to me to have my sponsors backing me, and it helps me tremendously. And the most important piece to this puzzle is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessing me with the opportunity that He's blessed me with, and blessed me with the ability to drive race cars. And definitely, without Him, I wouldn't even be standing here breathing or talking to you right now. So, they all play a huge, key, major role in my racing career, and I'm very thankful to have all of them in my life.
Well, good deal. Remember, go see Robert and ask him.
I will definitely have to ask him. Richard Petty, Snicker. I got to remember that.
Okay.
I will remember to ask him.
All right. I will get back up with you later, CJ. Have yourself a good night.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We got John Wes Townley on the phone with us also. How you doing tonight, John?
Doing well, man. How about you?
I'm having fun. I get to talk racing. And I get to do it all as much as I want. How about you?
Doing well, man. Living the dream.
There you go. All right. You're running, let's see, in the Camping World and the Xfinity Series this year.
That's right. As many Xfinity series as I can run without conflicting with the truck series.
Okay.
I'm running for the championship in that series. So.
Cool beans. Do me a favor. Do a little bio about yourself, telling everybody about how you got into racing, what got you into it, a little bit of different divisions you ran in, and just a brief bio so some of the people that don't know you and haven't heard much about you can learn a little bit more about you.
Great, man. Yeah, I started racing when I was about 9 years old in go-karts, actually on dirt. And I raced those for probably about a year. And, I started racing go-karts because I actually had this yard cart that my dad got for me when I was probably about 7 or 8. And I would just wear that thing out all the time, and my dad entertained the idea of me racing. That's kind of how I got into it. But from there, I just kind of worked my way up and moved from there to Bandoleros, Legends, and late models, and finally to ARCA and NASCAR. It's definitely a long road, though. I've definitely got to thank Zaxby's. Zaxby's been behind me throughout the entire endeavor, and can't say enough. If anybody out there hasn't had a chance to try Zaxby's chicken, they're sure missing out.
I went and got some the other day. They finally opened a Zaxby's. They went and opened a Zaxby's in our town finally. And I finally got a chance to go over and have some. It was good. I had me a nice big huge ass Cobb salad.
Great, man. Well, I think it was good then, huh?
Yes, it was. I had to finish the rest. I had to finish the other half on lunch the next day. Now,
we have generous portions for sure.
Now, how old are you, John, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 25.
25, still young. That's a good thing. Now, I remember when you were running with the Red Horse Racing. I know Timothy Peters, and he told me a lot of good things about you, so I told him I was going to get you out here and have some fun with you. But I did not ask him any neat stories about you. So you got lucky on that.
Any neat stories?
So sometimes I reach out to some of the people. I said, "Hey, you got anything good on so and so?" And then they'll give me a nice, cute little story to throw. That's like when you heard me talking with CJ Duarte. He knows a friend of mine, Robert Richardson Jr., that used to be in the Cup and Nationwide, and he quit racing, but he just lives like right around the corner from him. And we, a friend of mine is a Richard Petty impersonator, and I brought him out to meet him at Richmond one year, and after that they became very, very close friends. And every time anybody talked to him that saw him talking with him, and this went on for like almost a half a year, they kept asking him, was he going to go race for Richard Petty?
Wow, that's a good double.
There you go. Oh, there's cool stories, but this is all about you. One of these times I'll get back with you and text you a nice story about something between those guys. Anyway, so tell me now, you've been running the trucks for a while. How do you like driving in the Xfinity Series now?
I'm liking it a lot more now. Our cars have gotten a lot closer. We still have a ways to go. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, the Xfinity cars are a lot tougher than the trucks. They just, you actually have to get them to handle. You can't rely so much on side force and the aero. But we've got the engineering side coming along. We get closer and closer. I mean, we still have a long way to go before we're at that level of like the top 5 guys out there. Because, I mean, there are a lot of top affiliated teams that run the Xfinity Series, which makes the competition a little bit tougher.
Huh. Now, here's some. You got the late breaking news about who the Hall of Fame people were for this year, right?
I'm sorry, the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, the new inductees for that. Did you catch that today?
I did not.
Now I'm starting to feel bad. It must be too much playing around racing and not keeping up with your racing news.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Go ahead.
I've been all over the place. I've been on the road all day coming up from Georgia and visited the shop today. So I've just kind of been going. I was only home for a day and took back off. So.
Yeah. Well, here's the info for you. Bruton Smith, Terry Labonte, Curtis Turner, Jerry Cook, and Bobby Isaac. That's your next Hall of Famers.
Cool.
Anybody you liked or didn't like that made it in or didn't make it in?
Actually, you know, all those guys that I used to, did you say Bobby Labonte?
Nope, Terry. Terry made it. Bobby didn't.
Terry Labonte. Yeah, I always liked him. I watched him as a kid growing up. I mean, I would say it was like he's one of my favorite drivers, but he's definitely somebody that I respected, you know, as a kid growing up in racing.
Cool. Now, since we're talking a little bit about favorites, I'm going to pick your brain on some of your favorite spots. Racetrack that you like to run at, that you always enjoy going to, would be?
Yeah, you know what? Coming up, I'm going to my favorite track, Dover, Delaware. So, in 2 weeks, I think, less than 2 weeks now.
Yep, I love that place.
That would be probably my first. Well, it's a tie between that and Michigan. Those are my 2 favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had a track that you were going to, of course, as you're running the whole schedule, you're going to sit there and say, "Oh God, I'm going back there. I just don't like it there." What would be the track that makes you cringe when you think about going back to it?
Probably Phoenix.
Phoenix.
I would say. Yeah.
Why Phoenix?
I don't know. You know, it's not that it's. I've gotten better there over the years. It's never been good to me. You know, every time I've gone there, something bad's happened. If not devastating, something that is at least not ideal. We just kind of end up screwing it sometimes. So.
Do you take advantage of running the real low line through? I forget which corner it is, but everybody seems to want to dip through it and do the big shortcut. Do you ever try using that at all?
If I do, it's always towards the end of the race. You know, it's not something that you really want to do at the start, especially in the Xfinity cars, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of guys that go out there and do it, but I think you take too big a risk on damaging the splitter early on in the race. And aero doesn't seem like it would be that big of a deal there, but it is getting into turn 3, so it's a higher speed corner.
Yeah.
And it's best, in my opinion, to save it until like the last 20, or 30 laps.
Okay. Out at Phoenix, I'm going to hit you with something here. Do you ever go and get an In-N-Out burger?
In-N-Out Burger. You know what? I've never been.
You're shitting me. Never had an In-N-Out burger.
Now, you know what? Now that I think about it, they may have brought some to the track one time. I may be thinking of Whataburger though. I don't know. I get those two mixed up.
Oh, one of the guys that's usually on the show with me, Al Pierce, he works with Auto Week, and he happens to be down in Charlotte doing the voting on the Hall of Fame thing, and that would be one of the things he would probably beat you to death about. You have not had an In-N-Out burger. He would just, because everybody that ever goes to the West Coast to do any racing, that's one of the first things they'll ask, have you ever been and had an In-N-Out burger?
Now, I will say this though, there's a, speaking of burgers, we do one in Las Vegas, and there's a place at Planet Hollywood called Gordon Ramsay Burger. And that's probably by far the best burger I've ever had in my life. I will say that.
Well, the next time you're in Vegas, because from what I understand, the In-N-Out Burger is not that far from the airport, and half of the people I have on this show, when we talk to them, they say they get off the off the plane, the first stop before they even get to the track or the hotel is at the In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's got to be saying something for that.
I'm sure they're amazing, but you know what? I have a tendency to where, like, once I eat, like, I'm a very healthy eater, and if I eat, like, I'll put you this way, if I have one spoonful of ice cream, I'm going to eat a whole carton of ice cream.
Oh, jeez.
So there's no telling how many I would eat.
Oh, hey, maybe they have a wall of shame in there, you know, whoever ate 50 of them or something like that.
Yeah.
That's like, what was it, Quaker Steak and Lube? They have a wall of shame in there, but that's for their horrendous fire wings they have.
Hey, you know what? I've beaten that challenge.
We have too. We actually did a show from one of those. We had the vice president and president from Quaker Steak and Lube out, and a couple of guys did the challenge right there with them, and they all got their names on the wall.
Yeah. Now, hey, though, I'm not knocking Quaker Steak, but well, I guess I am kind of in a little way, but you know, Zaxby's wings, Zaxby's Insane Wings are way hotter than theirs, and they're a lot tastier. So, I don't know. Well, catching up to do.
Well, anytime you throw them and make them nuclear, I mean, that's sort of going to kill your palate on that anyway. Just be thankful they don't use the Scorpion Trinidad or the Ghost Peppers on some of those things. Those things will kill you.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
I've had some ghost pepper before.
Ooh, you're a brave soul. I've got some the Trinidad Scorpion pepper sauce here at my place, and I won't even touch it. And I used to like hot stuff. That burning twice thing.
Once you haven't had it for a while, you're not as, I mean, you're more sensitive to it. I mean,
oh gosh.
You don't use it, you lose it. You know.
Yeah. Well, John, let me go ahead and let you thank your sponsors. We'll have to get you back on here another time and get some more information pulled out of you. And I'll have to probably give a shout out to a couple of people and get something good for you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I mean, like I said before, you know, none of this would have been possible without those accidents. Really got to thank them, and also loving that Hendrick Chevy Power this year. I mean, it's really taking me that extra mile. It really makes a difference in my career.
That's good. Love to hear it. That's you know, the sad part about this is that so many of the guys out there that I get to meet, I want everybody to win. I just want everybody to draw a number one night, you know, and that week you win, and somebody else draws a number the next week they win. I just like to see good racing, period. And I'd hate to see somebody when they do a runaway type thing. That's why I reckon I root for the under guys most a lot.
Yeah.
So you're on that list.
Well, you know, there's only been one driver that I've ever watched that I've actually liked to see do a runaway deal, and that was Jeff Gordon. But sadly, you know, the competition's gotten a lot tighter. You don't really see it as much anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway. Fans.
All right, John. I appreciate you calling in and talking with us tonight.
Thank you. you'll have me on.
All right. Next track I get to, I'm gonna probably try to this time be able to stop by and say hi, because I passed by you several times when I was out at Richmond, and I think you were at Richmond and also at Martinsville.
That's right. That's right.
So I'll have to grab your hand and shake it and say, "Here I is."
Sounds good, man.
All right, John.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back.
All right. Have a good night, and we'll catch you later on. Thanks for calling again.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye bye. And now we've got Tim Viens. Is it Viens or Vines? How would you pronounce that?
Viens.
Viens. Okay, be that way. What?
I said French Canadian.
You're gonna be Frenchy. Oh goodness. How old are you,
So
Tim?
last time I was on the show with you, you guys caught me and I was filling my face with big fat steak. So this time I decided to wait and call in and then go to dinner.
We've had that happen. I don't know how many times the people will have somebody they're scheduled and they forget about it, and I always try to text them, ahead of time. And I remember it was Kenny Wallace. I had he called in one night. He was up in Chicago, and he'd gone into China, eat Chinese with some friends that had met him up there, and he totally forgot about it. And I texted him earlier that day, but I don't know if he missed it or what have you. And so he was about 10 minutes late, and I said, "All right, that's it." I texted him. I said, "Where are you?" And about 3 minutes later, he's calling in. He says, "Oh my!" And he was really apologetic. I felt bad for him. I've kidded it with him a lot, and
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah. You just want to eat all that mushu pork. That's what it was." But we got him one there, and he said, "I don't care. My food can go ahead and get cold. I'm not that bad at missing on the phone calls with you guys." But he was cool about it. But like I said, he's not the first person. Okay, Tim, let's get a little information out of you. Give us a little brief bio about what got you into racing, what you've done, and what you're hoping to do.
I got into racing through my marketing firm, RaceDaySponsor.com. We do sponsorship and marketing for several different NASCAR teams. I started driving about 5 years ago, and just took a fancy to it and wanted to be behind the wheel as much as possible, and just progressed up the ranks. And now we're racing this year. We're going to do several truck races, probably up to 10 truck races, and then finish the qualification for the Xfinity Series mid to the end of the season. And then the plan next year is to go full-time Xfinity racing.
Cool. You already got a team set aside that you're going to work at with, or are you still shopping that?
Well, right now, this year, I'm working some with Mike Harmon Racing, splitting the seat time with Jordan Anderson. Great kid. And so, as far as the Xfinity stuff that was at the end of the year, that's going to be my own equipment. And then next year is going to be Tim Viens Racing. So we're going to do our own thing. We have a motor program set up with Richard Childress. And I brought in a veteran car owner slash driver, Wayne Peterson, who's been in the ARCA series since I think the first year they started the series. And great guy, a lot of resources, and he's going to come on board and help out.
Cool beans. Now, let's see here. We were asking a couple of other guys. Now, I know what it was. Have you gotten the info on the Hall of Fame inductees yet?
No, I didn't.
I tell you what, I just don't know about y'all. Nobody seems to know about it, even though it was only at 6 o'clock. But anyway, info for you. Bruton Smith, Terry Labonte, Curtis Turner, Jerry Cook, Bobby Isaac. Anybody you would have liked to have seen in there?
That sounds like a pretty good group. I'm glad to see Terry Labonte get in there.
Cool.
Great group back there.
Now, what part of the country are you from, Tim?
Well, I live in Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm a Vermonter at heart. I grew up in the Lake Champlain Islands in Vermont. and I have a residence there as well, so I go back and forth. But Daytona, I call home.
Cool. So that makes it easy when it comes time for any races at Daytona, that's for sure.
5 minutes away.
Now, you actually stay in Daytona, or do you have a place up in Carolina as well?
No, I stay in Daytona, and like I said, I split time between here and Vermont.
Okay. Now, how old are you, Tim?
38.
38. Still a youngster.
Yeah, I wish. not compared to a lot of these guys. But.
Well, now you got to think. You're familiar with Harry Gant, right?
No.
You're not familiar with Harry Gant in the Sprint Cup Series? Or which is?
What's the last name?
Harry Gant.
I don't know.
Skull Bandit car?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty sad. He didn't start racing until he was 40 in Sprint Cup Series.
Really?
So there's always hope.
I love it.
Yeah, anybody that we have on the show that are in the 30s, we always pull out the Harry Gant thing. Say, yeah, well, he was 40 when he started finally racing. So it's always gives you hope. Me, I'm past that part. I'm up in there with not quite as bad as Morgan Shepherd, but Dale Jarrett I'm close to. I'm close to Dale Jarrett's age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, here's a brain question for you, being a race car driver. When you're out there racing, figuring on the percentage of success, is it due to the car, you as the driver, or is there a percentage also put out there for luck?
Well, I think there's a higher percentage on the car, followed closely by the driver. Do you want percentages?
Oh, sure. What the hell? Let's throw them out there. Let's have some fun with it.
I'm going to say that it's 60-40. And luck is about...
You ran out of luck.
Daytona, South, there's luck there.
I was going to say, you already ran out of luck because you already used 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in bad shape, Tim. You ain't got no luck left in that one. And you know, on those big tracks, those super speedways, you're gonna definitely need some of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh gosh. Do you have any charities that you work with?
I am doing some stuff with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We're actually working on some sponsorship stuff with a young feller that's Jason Gogol. He's going to be doing a bass pro fishing tournament with a bunch of bass pros, and we're doing some sponsorship stuff with him. And if the schedule works out, I'm going to try and myself go and fish with him as well, and maybe try to get a couple other drivers as well. Huge NASCAR fan, great kid, and obviously a great foundation, doing great things.
Oh yeah. Now, where is that going to be held at? What part of the country?
It's going to be in Maine.
In Maine. Ooh.
Yeah.
You better watch out for moose.
So we got some time, but
all I can say is make
it's
sure.
part of the pro tour.
Yeah.
They're going to do that up there.
All right. Just watch out for the moose. I understand up in Maine they are not fun.
They're big, that's for sure.
Oh. Well, I mean, what was it? I was watching some science show. They were talking about that there are more people getting hurt by moose, and it's surprisingly that Maine is one of the top places that you get hurt by them. I mean, granted, you got Alaska, but people per mile are less than in Alaska than what they are in Maine. I think. Don't hold me on that.
I think the most dangerous thing is to probably hit them in a car. Those things are huge, and they'll do some serious damage. They're big.
No. I just, my wife loves watching a lot of the Animal Planet stuff like that, and I see so much stuff where guys hop out of their cars and try to take pictures, and the next thing you know, a deer or a moose is chasing them down, and you know, it ain't good for anybody at that point.
I'd say so.
So, if you weren't racing, say for instance you had something that happened that caused you not to be racing anymore, what would be your fallback?
Well, I own a couple of different businesses.
Ah.
And, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so I keep very busy when I'm not at the track. So, but I own the RaceDaySponsor.com. I also own a Connecticut Tree Sales and the EvergreenSource.com. We focus in evergreens for privacy borders, like backyard privacy hedges, instead of putting like a fence in. We're in 22 states, so that keeps me pretty busy as well.
So
I actually just pitched that company to the Shark Tank, and I made it to the second round. I found out last week.
Ah, Shark Tank. It ought to be good. You gonna come in there driving a small race car?
Well, I actually wore a race suit to the audition, and I accompanied the advertising on the car with NASCAR and such.
Ah.
And I guess they really liked it, so we'll see what happens. I told them that if they take me to the show, then I'll actually drive a truck to the front door.
Oh my God! You'll have to let me know when that's going to happen. I love catching stuff like that. Did you get a copy of the video for the interview for that?
No, I didn't. They're very touchy on. They don't want it out there too much, but I guess they kind of just blew it. But
what? I won't tell anybody.
You don't tell anybody. I don't want to tell anybody. We'll be fine.
We'll keep it between us. Anybody out there that's listening, y'all didn't hear that.
Yeah, sure.
Don't worry the fact that it'll be on YouTube tomorrow, you know. But I do that a lot of times to people. They'll say, "Hey, tell me this," but I won't tell nobody. Oh God, that's going to be cool. I've watched a lot of things on Shark Tank. And I tell you what, please tell me you've got all your ducks in a row.
That's the last thing I'm going to go do is go in there and look like a retard. I can tell you that.
Those guys will.
Yeah, I got it together, and I think I have everything they're looking for. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping to maybe land Robert Hershevek just because he's a racer. I think he'd be a cool partner.
Oh gosh, it's wild, that's for sure. And they definitely don't take any prisoners. But if they like you, you're going to get a war on your hands. Who's going to take you home with them?
Oh yeah.
That's what you want to see. Have you already got your
that'd be cool.
You already got your numbers figured out? That what you're going to look for? Don't tell me.
Yeah,
just say yes or no.
Yes.
We don't want anybody to know anything ahead of time. Oh gosh. Yeah, you definitely have to let me know when you went, and you can't tell me snicker that whether you want it or not, right?
Well, maybe I'll shoot you a text message. It'll be a thumbs up or a thumb down.
There you go. There you go. But then let us know when you're gonna have it back on the thing. I'll probably try to plug you back on here and let everybody be able to know when you're gonna have the show on there, so everybody can watch it. And we'll have to not tell them what you did.
For sure.
Now, just out of curiosity, when they do have the show and the Sharks, when they sign up with you, do they tell you when things start happening, or is it okay, we're going to do it and it's like still 3 or 4 months down the road? They have to wait till after the showing of the show?
Well, from what I've gathered so far, they basically, I guess, 40,000 people pitch a year to go on the show. 40,000 different businesses and people. and they sort that down to, I don't know the exact number, but where you actually send in a video submission. And then once you send in the video submission, then you move on, to the final round. I believe they said that they actually film 140 businesses on the show, and I believe just over half of those actually ever even go on air. So it's entirely possible that you can get a shark to invest and you have them as a partner and everything, and it still doesn't air. So it's quite a process to get there, But I think we have the interesting stuff with the racing and the business. I think we have the key elements that they're looking for. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens.
Now I'm gonna throw you a curve. Which is harder, sponsors for racing or going to the Sharks?
I'm not gonna lie. Even when I went in there, and you weren't in front of the Sharks. You're still in front of these, production guys. And I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. That show is it's one of my top favorites, and I was definitely nervous. I didn't want to blow it, and I didn't want to mess up what I was going to say. I had it all spieled out and everything, but I got through it, and I hit it. I hit everything I wanted to hit, and all the points. So it went good. But yeah, I was nervous. No, getting a race car, that's comfort. So that's fun.
That's like eating comfort food, huh?
Oh yeah, that's like having dessert, man. That's no problem.
Oh goodness. Now you've raced out on the West Coast area before, correct?
Yeah.
I'm throwing you our food question now. And what's your favorite place to go for a burger when you're out, like in Vegas?
Ooh, Vegas. Man, I tell you, I stayed when the last time I was there, I stayed at the Palazzo, and they had this place in there. I can't remember the name of it. Shoot. It was a steakhouse, but I had lunch there, and let me tell you, this burger was like 3 pounds or something. That was ridiculous.
That sounds like going to
I think I only ate half of it.
sounds like going to a Fuddruckers or something like that where they have those huge burgers.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, you didn't answer with the correct answer, bro. But no, actually, one of the guys here, I don't know if you know Al Pierce from Auto Week.
Yeah.
He loves to talk about In-N-Out burgers. So
I love that place too. I'm not gonna lie.
okay, so you just got better on his scale once he sees the thing on YouTube. But that's what he swears by is In-N-Out burgers. And I've already got a couple of texts already that some of these people say they don't like them. I'm sitting here saying, well, I hear all these good things, but hey, everybody has their threshold of pain, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get a little bit back more to your racing side. Who's been your mentor through all the years as you've been getting into the racing and everything way back when? Even though you can't remember Harry Gant.
I know. I kind of have people that I look up to in the sport. A Kyle Busch. I see a guy like him, and a lot of people don't like him and stuff like that. But I see him as the Christian man he is, and and his a family man, and he's accomplished so much with all his success in his wins. I look up to people like him. So I appreciate what he does, and for sure.
Now, since we're talking about Kyle, and do you find that you have two faces, a race day face and away from the race face?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you have to. You always have to. You always have to have the two faces, and you gotta. It's a sport. It's competition, and you're competing. And if somebody pushes your button, you have to be ready to dish it out a little bit.
Got to sort of strut your stuff, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think as you come into the new series and you move up and stuff, you have to be respectful for the guys that are out there and competing for championships, and they have a lot of money invested, and the whole like for me, I can get out of their way, and if I'm not running at the same speed or whatever it is. But at the same time, if they come put a bumper on me for no reason, then I'm a return the favor. Why not?
Sounds right. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, because I mean, I've seen so many two faces, and it's not a bad thing. Just like you said, it's you're at the sport, you're at the point where you're doing competition. If it's trash talking you're going to be throwing out there, you can be throwing that out there. But when you get away from it, or you're not actually in the limelight, I've seen several of the drivers, when say for instance the Denny Hamlin Foundation race that they have out here in Virginia. When those guys, they're in a much more relaxed, because it's a charity event. They're racing to have fun. There'll be some light trash talking, but then again, once they're away from the cars, it's just like the guy next door that you've known forever type thing. We lost you. We'll try it again. I can get you a good cell phone company.
We actually got those severe thunderstorms rolling in, and I don't know if it was me or you or what, but I'm going to blame it on the storm.
Ain't no storms here. You probably lost a cell, had a power dip or something, and it just spiked it and went out for a second.
Yeah.
Now I forgot what rant I was on. But I think it was more, I don't know how far you heard, but I was talking about the Denny Hamlin Foundation race. When the guys are doing charity work, they're away from this stuff. They're so much more pleasant. I mean, I've sat, being a race car driver myself, and also do this media stuff, there are times that it's just so much more fun just to sit there and listen and watch to everything that's going on. You're going to laugh your ass off. Tony Stewart is one of the biggest clowns I've seen out there when it comes to pranking and having fun with everybody around him. And I want it for me. I'm enjoying this. I'm not going to take and video it so other people can enjoy it, but sometimes I feel like I'm torn both ways. It's oh my God, that was so funny, you should have been there, well, why didn't you film it? Oh, I was busy having too much fun listening, and participating, that type of stuff. And those are the fun parts the fans never get to really see unless somebody does accidentally catch it on video. So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it is.
I watched that Denny Hamlin charity event, and I love watching that. I'm so glad that he does that. It's really cool. It's really cool for the guys that get to run against Denny and these guys that big sprint drivers that compete in there, and they get to. It's pretty cool. I love watching that race.
Oh, I got so mad. I couldn't go to it. Even it's like 3 hours from where I was. I wasn't able to get away to go watch it, so I was waiting impatiently because I know most of the people out there and stuff. And I heard about everything that went on and didn't get to watch it. In fact, that weekend I was at Richmond, and I had to apologize to everybody I knew because all the Xfinity drivers I talked to, I said, now don't y'all be racing around like they did on the Denny Hamlin race, the night before. I said, it was just a crash fest. And so then everybody was telling me the next day, damn, the Xfinity race was just so damn boring. I said, all right, it's my fault. I told everybody to behave, and apparently they listened. So, but it's nice. And I got so mad at myself when they finally had it on TV. I went to watch it, and I got to like the last 15, 20 minutes, and I fell asleep. I was pissed. I could not find it being replayed anywhere else.
It was a good race, there's no question. It was action-packed for sure.
Oh, God.
Definitely found it.
Yeah, a lot of the late model drivers, I know them, and some of the celeb drivers too. I know them as well, and it was fun just watching it.
That's good.
catching all the action as it was being passed on the internet. And every time I got some information, automatically I have a chain program set up, and it'll start posting on like 50 different pages on Facebook. So it was a busy night, but it was nice to see how the race went. But you need to get out there and go race that.
Man, I would love to.
Get yourself on the invite list.
Oh, I know. I would love to do that. That would be a fun one for sure.
I mean, there's some guys out there you could probably rent a late model from.
I have one, so I could definitely do it.
Uh-oh. I'm going to hold you to it next time they come around, because I thought, I can't say nothing yet. I think I know where the next race is going to be, but it's not been announced yet. And I definitely don't want to ruffle those feathers of friends.
Yeah, you better keep that one quiet.
Off to the side I might say something, but not right here. But
Yeah.
I'll just say I'll be happy with it. I'll leave it alone. But
I'm
anyway.
looking for my text later then.
Do what?
I thought I'll be looking at my text messages later.
I can do that.
That'll work.
So you, where did you run late models at, or are running late models at?
Well, New Smyrna is my backyard. I'm not running them right this moment though, but New Smyrna is my backyard. I ran a lot of the Florida tracks. New Smyrna, Orlando Speed World, Citrus, all over.
Now, have you competed in the snowball derby at all?
No, I didn't compete in that one.
When they were doing the Speed Weeks Daytona thing, where they had the late models at one time racing at Daytona, did you try to do that one?
It was the which one? The one in
It was
New
what?
Smyrna?
No, there's before they started running them at New Smyrna, they had the K&N race. They had the late model race. This was when they first started to do this at on Daytona's backstretch. That was what, 2 or 3 years ago now.
Oh no, I haven't ran that. Yeah, they just barely started that a couple years ago.
Yeah, they ran like the late models there one time, and then they took them and put them over in New Smyrna, I think now. But I tell you what, that was watching one hell of a race too.
Yeah.
I think.
I gotta stay away from Speed Week, man. This guy scared me.
I think that was the one Kyle Larson was causing.
Yeah, all these kids coming in from all over the country, man. It's like they're trying to make some kind of point or something, and I don't know what it is, but you can tear some stuff up during Speed Week.
Oh gosh.
I don't talk to Lira, but I think he must have tore up a half a dozen, maybe a dozen cars in 1 week.
Have you ever tried to go do any of the big late model races like Martinsville or Myrtle Beach?
No, I haven't. We're focusing primarily on the ARCA trucks and moving up right now.
Well, that's a good goal. Getting in the.
I like to go at a little bit better pay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's one of those things. Well, in that case, you better go get yourself a cup car.
Expenses go up in that one, that's for sure.
Yeah. Here's a question for you.
Sure.
What would be your thoughts on taking the upper 3 tiers, turning it into crate motors? And I'm gonna throw another twist at you too. Do you remember being at tracks where they had claimers?
Where they had what?
Claimers.
Where you could claim someone's stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you think would happen
If they were keeping it, you could call them out on it and basically claim it?
Yep. I mean, if NASCAR dropped back a few years and made it very ultra competitive, using crate engines and throwing claiming rules out there. To me, I see the cost of the sport plummeting way down because everybody wouldn't be putting all this money into high-end R&D.
Absolutely.
Make
That's a very interesting concept, to say the least. It would, I think the competition level would go up. I think that the bigger teams that have a ton of money would hate it, because you have guys that are running 25th and 20th every single weekend now competing to win the race.
yes,
It would be an equal playing field. And
competition.
I think it would be
Competition.
a guy that's coming from a mid-level budget program to be able to compete at a level like that would be incredible.
Yeah, because the competition level would shoot way up. The cost to race would go way down, which would free up more sponsorship dollars to help out a lot of the teams.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that would go from the percentage that I said earlier, 60-40. It would probably switch in the other direction. I think, upwards of 80 or 90%. It would be all driver ability at that point.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I've talked to some of the Cup drivers, and a lot of them are scratching their head and actually thinking about it. This might be something interesting to bring up to somebody that can actually do something, is what they're telling me. But whether that would actually ever work or not, I don't know. But if somebody had enough money in their back pocket and want to start up a whole new racing series to compete against NASCAR and make it a touring division and have stock crate engines, high-speed cars, and claiming rules with big paychecks, I think NASCAR would probably go down the drain about that time.
It's definitely an interesting concept, that's for sure.
Where's Bill Gates' money when you need it? Hold it! Shark Tank, here's another one for you.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Mark as an investor and we'll look at that one.
Oh, Cuban would love it. He'd love to own a series. He'd be another Tony Stewart, getting out there and owning his own series and stuff.
Yeah.
But anywho, good golly, look at us. We've been going here. It's almost, It's almost 20 after. But it's been all fun.
I love having fun.
And this is,
But I'm getting hungry.
huh?
I am getting hungry though.
Oh, don't get me started. I hear Chinese buffet around the corner calling my name.
Oh man, that's not on my diet. Oh, goodness.
Well, you can go to a Chinese buffet and still eat on a diet.
No, I go to a Chinese buffet. I want some lo-mein noodles, man. That's not on my diet.
Oh, well, let's see. There's so many different things you can throw in there, but what the heck. The ones we have here, some of the bigger ones they have, oh my God, they're huge. And you're talking about, seems like you got 200 things on the buffet. They'll have prime rib, they'll have pork chops, they'll have pizza, they'll have pork roast, they'll have all sorts of vegetables, and vegetables with cheese on top of them, fried chicken, fried wings, fried fish, fried crabs, all sorts of stuff. Salmon sitting out there, or other fish sitting out there. And then they'll have a hibachi grill in the back if you want to have something cooked specifically for you. Now you really getting hungry?
Oh man, you're making me hungry.
Oh goodness.
Alright, so what's the next race you're going to?
The next race I'm going to go to will probably be Richmond. I think that's in September, and Martinsville is in October. Due to personal stuff.
When is Richmond? What's the September?
September something, yeah.
I'll probably be at that one, so look for me.
Well, if you're going to be running, that's going to be the Xfinity series, so yeah. I'll have to look for you there.
I could be running Richmond in the Xfinity car, yeah.
Cool. I'll have to make sure I come by and shake your hand and bring a fried something or other by and just wave it at your face and say, you're on your diet. But anywho, Tim, I really enjoyed the conversation, and I'm definitely going to look forward to meeting to you face to face.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget about me.
Will do.
What was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll be sending you a text message in a few.
Alright, very good. And then I'll follow up as soon as I have go do it.
All right, let's do the right thing. Go ahead and thank all the people that mean something to you in racing, and let me let you get out of here so you can get something to eat.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I want to basically thank my sponsors, RaceDaySponsor.com, CCTrees.com, Rios Automotive Group, and yeah, that about covers it for me.
What? No mom and dad thing? Come on now.
Nah, they know I love them.
Okay.
That's a given.
Well, we always give the young kids a hard time, you know, with the 17, 18-year-old kids that just get into racing, they start thinking, and they almost always it's mom and dad. You got to thank mom and dad. So. But oh my God.
They're the ones paying. They're the ones paying for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
they got the ones that live with the headaches. All right, Tim, let me let you get out of here, and I will get with you later.
I appreciate it. Have a great evening, sir.
You too. Bye-bye. Oh my gosh. I hope everybody had as much fun as we did. And we'll catch everybody next week on Let's Talk Racing.